Hey guys, I hope you're doing great. Today we have best-selling author Stephen Gardner here with us. It's taken a couple of months to be able to get this interview all set up and squared away. Stephen, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to do this interview and share your thoughts with us.
Oh, absolutely. I'm excited to be here with your audience and your followers today.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So you guys, if you don't already know, Stephen has a YouTube channel as well. And on there, he shares daily stimulus updates, other financial videos. If you don't already, go follow and subscribe to him. And anyway, let's jump into it. So Stephen, I asked my audience what they wanted to hear from you. A bunch of them did say they would like to hear your perspective on stimulus and where you think the stimulus check and unemployment is going to be going.
Okay.
So with that, what are your thoughts with stimulus?
Well, I do believe that there will be a stimulus check for the people. There are senators that are pushing back on it, but there's so many people in the House of Representatives that want a stimulus check. President Trump has publicly said multiple times that he wants a stimulus check. Vice President Pence has said he wants one. And just yesterday, Mitch McConnell, who's been actually very negative on the topic, said that he believes America needs one final boost and that this will be the last relief bill because the jobs are starting to come back, right? They're hoping for that V-shaped recovery. I think it's going to be more of a U-shaped recovery. But anyway, it is positively trending. But the reason that we haven't sunk into a Great Depression is because of the way that the Federal Reserve reacted to the credit market and to the stock market and them issuing stimulus through the CARES Act. So I think that we are definitely going to see something. I wish that they would move faster on this for the people because I know that there is a large percentage of the population that is really hurting financially. And there's a lot of pieces of data that I think the Senate are missing. But I'm hoping that they'll pull that all together, and when they come back from break, they will come back with a bill ready to rock and roll and get something going early August.
Yeah, that's a great point. Do you think, so a big question I've had as far as how this has gone forward, do you think they're going to focus on those direct payments and stimulus checks just as they did last time? Or do you think they'll focus more on those unemployed and those who have been greatly affected financially?
Yeah, well, obviously, there's different levels of income, and the people that are least able to bear this, meaning people that live near the poverty level, or even families that their household income is less than $50,000. Most people live paycheck to paycheck, even though we're a wealthy nation. And so to have that paycheck ripped away or to go through your emergency fund trying to prepare for the lockdown and survive the lockdown. So I definitely think that we'll see something for the middle class and lower, but will they lower that from $75,000 for an individual or $150,000 for a couple? They may. I don't know yet. They are saying they want to be more targeted with the stimulus at this point, but I do think something will happen. They've talked about it quite a bit. If not, they would really be backtracking and really irritate a lot of people. So I do think it will happen. I also wouldn't be shocked to see quite a bit of money go to the states and also maybe a second round of PPP money to businesses that are maybe 100 employees or lower. So we'll see. It's definitely something that's on a lot of people's mind right now.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. Do you, one more question about stimulus and then we'll get into finance, but do you think some of the politicians are just playing this as a game to get our votes? Or do you think, what do you think about that?
Well, whenever you're dealing with politicians, you're dealing with politics, and you definitely just have to be conscious of the fact that they want to get voted in again. They don't want to look bad to their constituents. And so, I think there's definitely some games being played. There's definitely some politics happening. But at the end of the day, they are they have to save this country from falling into a Great Depression, or else we're all in trouble. The wealthy and the poor, we're all in trouble without additional stimulus, in my opinion.
Totally agreed with that. So you had mentioned previously how people may not even, well, we already know majority of people are paycheck to paycheck. They can't even cover next month's bill with any type of savings. But as people are starting to try to save more in these times to come, and as they're trying to collect more money, do you think banks are still a safe place for them to store their money, or where do you think people should be looking to put this money so that it's safe?
Yeah, the Federal Reserve just did a major stress test on the biggest 30 banks, and they found them to be financially very strong, which is very opposite of what we went through during the Great Recession, which I lived through and struggled through. So yeah, I think banks are in a good position. So are banks a good place and a safe place to grow money? My answer is most likely yes. Is it going to make you wealthy and get a good rate of return? My answer is no. So I do think people will have to find a balance of safety and growth for their money. And you know, that's what I do when I do financial coaching for people is we see, okay, what resources do you have to work with as a lump sum? What resources do you have to work with as an ongoing month to month situation? And then from there, we carve an individual path out for people. But yeah, I would say that as of right now, banks are safe, but they may not be the best place to grow your money.
Great advice. Thank you so much. So as far as places to grow your money, do you agree with people continuing to invest in their 401ks? Do you think it's a smart idea for them to pull out of their 401ks during this time? Where do you think people should be looking to invest and grow their money right now?
Yeah, if people follow my channel, it's no surprise that I'm not a big fan of the 401k. And guess what? The guy that created the 401k in the 70s has publicly come out against them and said, this is not what they were designed for. They were designed for the ultra rich to shelter just a little bit of extra money from the government and taxes until they could get to a lower tax bracket. But what Wall Street did is they found a way to tie your money up for decades inside of Wall Street, where most people have to take on more risk than they're comfortable with. So I don't think that they should immediately, liquidate and walk away. Although right now, thanks to the CARES Act, they would be able to avoid that 10% penalty of touching their own money. They would still have to pay tax. But I think the bigger thing is do I have an emergency that I genuinely need money for? And then in that case, yes, access your money. That's what it's for, right? But if not, then the next question for me is, should I be contributing to something that carries a lot of hidden fees, that has the potential for big loss, and locks my money up until I'm 59 and a half? So when I start breaking those things down, like, okay, my money's locked up for an emergency and it's locked up for opportunity, and my only real opportunity is to be in the stock market, which is higher risk. People really need to consider that. Now, my prediction is, after living through the Great Recession, is that most employers are going to stop matching for probably a couple of years. And in that case, if you're not getting that free money, then what's the point? All you're really doing is setting yourself up for a very large tax burden when you need the money the most, right? Like, you think you hate paying taxes now, wait till you're not working in a job and you're in your 70s or 80s. Then you're really going to hate paying taxes. So why set yourself up for that? That's just my opinion. But if somebody does need access to that money, then that's what that money is for. And you should take care of yourself and your family. But other than that, I'm not a big fan of the 401k.
Gotcha. Awesome. Thank you. What about, so obviously different financial YouTubers have different theories. Andre Geek is into dividend investing. Graham Stephan really pushes the S&P 500. Do you think the S&P 500 is as stable as it has been previously? Obviously, over the last 100 years, its average has been really well, honestly, over those 100 years. Do you think the future is as bright as the past, or do you think years to come aren't quite the same as the past with the S&P 500?
Oh, I think if you believe in America, the indexes are going to continue to chug along, and that's probably a good opportunity. If you are looking at individual stocks, then you just need to get really smart and know what parameters to look for. Has there been a dip, and you can take advantage of that recovery, or is a company about to release new information and they're going to see a jump? If not, then the market's just going to continue to chug along. For me, the real question is, do I want to take big losses every 3 to 5 years in my portfolio and then take a couple of years to get back to break even? So for example, after the Great Recession, the market dropped by a total of 52%. And, as people were able to ride that back up, there was a lot of bragging over barbecues and at the office of kicking butt in the stock market. But with your original money, it took 5.5 years to get back to break even. So for me, I'm like, maybe with new money, but with old money, what a waste of time. What an absolute waste of time. And so if they can be in things that are protected against loss that way, but still have that upside opportunity, that's a good thing. I definitely talk about that with my own clients. But am I anti-stock market? No, but I do worry that too many people have too much of their portfolio in the risk of Wall Street. And we just saw this, right? In March, this was the stock market, right? I don't like clients to participate in that. But now there's going to be this opportunity to go back up, but you need to be an intelligent investor and understand what you're doing.
Yeah. So say somebody has a couple months of savings in the bank, or in a high yield savings account, hopefully, and they have that money, they're saving more money each month. Where should they put this money if they already have a couple or a few months of savings for their emergencies that come up? Where would you advise them to put their money?
Yeah, usually I don't like to give that kind of advice unless I'm like doing a coaching session with somebody, because I mean, let's say that this video gets thousands of views. That means that there's thousands of people in thousands of different situations. But just in general, if somebody had an emergency fund and they were able to put money aside, they could certainly look at the strategy in my best-selling book, Taming Wall Street. They could also open up a Robinhood or a Webull or some kind of brokerage account and get some advice on how to ride those stocks back up. Certainly, if you need to either be a good day trader and willing to lose money or make money, or you need to take a long-term perspective and buy into companies that you believe are going to be here 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now. If not, then they're probably not worth buying today if you're not willing to hold them for a couple of years. But if you're day trading, then yeah, you just need to look for those little margins every single day. And over the course of a year, then that can end up being a very good return. So again, as far as if somebody was working with me, we're going to build a customized individual plan, but just giving general knowledge. They can look at the bank, they could look at different insurance products, they could look at the market. I still think that real estate has some opportunity, but that usually has a little bit higher barrier to entry, where you need to either borrow somebody's money to get in or have some of your own money set aside. But yeah, I'm still optimistic that you're going to be able to grow your money in the American engine, right? It's an engine that's always moving. We are a consuming nation, and we are going to continue to consume, which means there's going to be lots of business opportunity and investment opportunity.
Yeah, thank you so much. One last question for you. With real estate, you mentioned for a brief second there, what do you think the short-term and long-term outlook are with real estate investing? There are quite a few YouTubers, or at least a few I can think of off the top of my head, who are a little worried of another real estate crash or crisis. What are your thoughts, short-term and long-term, in real estate?
Yeah, I definitely am worried that there could be a lot of foreclosures. As an investor, that's a great opportunity to pick up money. As an investor that's caught in that, it can be an absolute nightmare. My wife and I sold off a couple of rental properties in 2008 and did very well. And then we've just been waiting for property values to come back down. I don't think that we're there yet. So, if somebody's going to get into it, you make your money in real estate when you buy the deal. You don't hope that it suddenly becomes a great deal, right? So you have to mathematically know that this rental property is going to make money from day one, or it's not a great deal, or I'm going to come in and do some value adds on this flip, and then I'm going to get the money back out in, 90 to 180 days. So people just need to don't get into real estate if you don't know what you're doing, because it's an incredible money-making opportunity, or it can just vacuum all the money right out of your wallet and leave you with a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah. I think if you aren't careful, it can really mess you up for a few years financially. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, that's all the questions I have for you, Stephen. Thank you so much for your time, for your thoughts. I appreciate it, and I'm sure everybody who watches this is gonna love it. I've enjoyed every single one of your videos. I watched you grow from, not really the beginning, but from a few months ago when you only didn't have hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and it's been amazing to watch all those who come and support you, and you're able to help so many people. That's one thing I admire about you, and I've loved to watch with you, is how many people you truly care about and you help. It truly is inspiring. So thank you.
Yeah, if anyone wants to join the community, I do smart money tips, stimulus updates, I do personal development, and I do words of encouragement. So right now, we all need encouragement. We're going through some hard times as a country. We want to make sure as few people are left behind and hurt from this as possible. But we also want to have a good, positive mental attitude. I've lived through hardship, and it's hard. And I wish I could help people avoid that, but that's what my channel is for, is to share my failures and my successes, to be there for people, to motivate them, to get them to have a shift in their thinking about themselves or their future. So yeah, thank you for the opportunity to be here and speak with your audience today.